Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka Geek XX Chic, and I just wanted to do like a quick review video of the latest Marvel show, which is Inhumans, which came out in IMAX and is, I believe, going to air pretty quickly, if not already. I just wanted to give my 2 cents because this show has been getting, wow, it has been getting put through the gears, to put it nicely. Okay, let me just start off by saying that I just don't think it's as god-awful as some people are making it out to be. Like, I get it. It had flaws, and I mean the flaws had flaws. The flaws had flaws. It was definitely a problematic show for a number of reasons. I'd say one of the biggest ones was just the overall writing and plot were so weak, and that isn't necessary for a Marvel show considering the fact that it had source material, and somehow that all got lost in translation, and we got a show that seemed so, it lacked so much cohesion. And to me, when you launch a brand new series, what you should be looking at, or what you should be worried about, is introducing us to the main characters, giving us a high-level view of what the storyline or what the arc of the show or even the season is going to be, and then basically whetting our appetite to want to investigate and learn more about the people and the story. That's basically what, in my opinion, a good pilot turns out to be. But in the case of this show, I feel like they fell short on that mark. I mean, we were introduced to all the people who were the series regulars, but I really don't feel like we learned anything about them that was really all that valuable. I think mistake number one, in my opinion, was the fact that they really took for granted that the majority of this audience, if not all of them, have watched S.H.I.E.L.D. Seriously, like there were so many terms and things that were referenced that you really would not have any kind of reference or frame of reference for if you hadn't watched S.H.I.E.L.D. And not everybody who watches or who watched Inhumans, or maybe was planning on watching Inhumans, necessarily watched S.H.I.E.L.D. or maybe are not caught up with S.H.I.E.L.D. I always feel that, especially when you're starting a new story, or a new series, I should say, you should always take for granted that there's a subsection of your audience, probably a fairly big one, that doesn't have all the context, that doesn't have all the answers, that doesn't know every little nuance of the show. You had 2 hours right off the bat. Why not use some of that time to do some exposition? Do you know what I mean? Like, just a little bit. And I mean, not in the form of the opening scene with this girl running from someone bad and having this very non-human looking person try to do 5 minutes of exposition when people are like bullets are literally whizzing by their face. Like, timing, like, read the situation. Not a good time to start talking to somebody about the depths and the inner workings of what's going on in her life right now. Like, that's a grab and go situation, and explain later. You know what I mean? But what they could have done is, while they were taking all those wonderful, beautiful panoramic shots, which obviously they were showing off the fact that they had an IMAX camera and a, what do you call them? They obviously had a couple of good drone cameras going. Instead of, just having that time to just bask in the glory that's Hawaii, they could have used that for like a good voiceover moment. You know what would have been great? Actually, considering the fact that the lead of the show has a power that does not allow him to speak on a regular basis, how cool would it have been if maybe they had used him speaking in his voice, in his head, obviously, or whatever, narrating and telling us the backstory of, like, why Adelon's on the moon, who Inhumans are, how they have any kind of contact with Earth, why did they leave Earth? Like, all of that stuff could have been summarized in, like, I don't know, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and it would have been great context to start our story. You're giving a little storytelling, you're giving some wonderful scenic shots, and then as you're zooming in, we start to see that opening sequence with this girl running from people, and it all starts to give you a little bit of a framework as to, okay, now we know why she's running, we know why it's such a big deal, etc., blah, blah, blah. Like, something like that to me would have been a lot smarter, because that's how you go and you loop in the audience that is not savvy to the Marvel universe. The awful special effects, I mean, at this point, like, The Flash has better special effects, and come on, like, I love the Flash, but like the Flash has got maybe a third the budget that this show would have at their disposal. So there really was no excuse for having substandard graphics and CGI. Like, it just wasn't necessary. But it was just sad to see, like, you know, Medusa's hair. Everyone's already talked about Medusa's hair, so I'm not going to get into it too much more, but it definitely left a lot to be desired. The costumes were just very... I just feel like they didn't need to do costumes. If they weren't going to do something cool and kind of elaborate, like, you're supposed to make me believe these are people who are living in a space world on the moon all these years with, like, technology that's supposed to be, like, ahead of ours, and they can't make a decent looking outfit. Like, and oh my gosh, like, people talk about Medusa's hair. Can we talk about Medusa's sister? Crystal was her name? Her hair was all... What was that weird ass stripe? She had like, what? It was ridiculous. But digressing, my whole thing is, if you were not going to take the time to, like, come up with good, cool costumes, particularly considering the fact that I feel like a smaller part of this series is going to focus on Adelan and most of it's going to be focused on Earth, why not just put them in plain clothes? You could just be like, yeah, like, we send people down. I mean, you have a teleporting dog. You're telling me the teleporting dog can't just you know, let's just zoom into a gap and just pick up a few things? Just a lot of problems. Very problematic on some things that could have been very easily solved if they had taken the time to do it. You know, I'm just hoping that Marvel's not kind of getting too comfortable and taking for granted and just thinking, oh, well, our fans are going to stick around no matter what, because that's not true. Like, we have, like, Marvel, you set the standard, first of all. Like, you're the ones who came out and put this really great stuff out. You've set the bar up here. You can't just go set it up here and then get lazy. Like, we're gonna call you out on it. You know, we're gonna see that there's things lacking if you don't put that effort in. But overall, I don't think that Inhumans was that bad. I don't think it's, like, beyond the point of salvation. I think there's a lot of potential for it to get better. I mean, S.H.I.E.L.D. was definitely, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was shaky in its first 2 seasons, but thankfully they had ABC, aka Disney, behind them to keep them financed and keep them on the air till it kind of found its stride, and now it's a really good show. And I feel like this show has the potential to do that, but they just have to get that writing and that pacing. They need to just iron that out and get that solid, because I feel like those are the 2 biggest issues in this premiere. I mean, your lead is a king who is mute because of his mutant ability. We need some way to figure out what this man is thinking, because unfortunately that actor did not give me enough from his facial expressions. It just didn't come off very well. It made him seem very wooden and detached, and I have no reason to care about what's going on with Black Bolt or what he wants or what he cares about, because we didn't get any inclination outside of him touching people's chests and them going, yeah, okay, yeah, I get it. Wait, well, we don't. Like, I understand that you don't want Black Bolt talking, but then why don't we have a voiceover? We could have a voiceover, or we could have brought in a mutant, a convenient mutant who could read minds and could be the translator. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it just was a huge gap that should have been filled and should not have been like this apparent in the first episode. And I think that's really why people are so disappointed, because fans of this genre, comic book fans, we are fans of story first. People don't read entire series over decades of comic books for the pretty pictures. Okay, that's a great bonus, but we read it because there's a good story. There's like something about this character that draws us in and makes us want to continue to watch their story as it evolves and unfolds and they interact with new people, etc., etc. You have to have the story at the foundation. If they can get someone else in there who has a better idea of how to make these shows hum and sing, like, I don't know, maybe Joss Whedon, if he's willing to touch this with a 10-foot pole, I think they could still turn this around and make it a lot better. So overall, I'd say it's not something that people should give up on. I'm not going to tell people not to watch it at this point. I'm going to have to get probably another 2 episodes in to see if it's really becoming a pattern of terrible, or if I'm hoping, my hope is very much that it will improve, because, you know, I love my superhero shows and I love getting my fix, and it'd be great to have, this to add to the roster, particularly if it's done well. So anyways, that's just my thoughts on it. I might do more reviews on this show. Let me know in the comments below if you think that I should do more reviews on Inhumans, because like I said, I don't think I'll be doing reaction vids just because a lot of stuff is going to be coming back in the next couple weeks. And what did you think? Did you see it in IMAX? Are you going to be watching it? Do you think it was awful, or do you think maybe everyone's being just a little bit too harsh? Please let me know in the comments below. You know I love to read them. If you like this video, guys, please click like, and if you want to see more from this geeky face, go ahead and subscribe. Until next time, guys, take care.